Oh Dieu, aïe, oh Dieu, aïe, so go your way, are you a boy at all? So go your way, are you a boy at all? So go your way, so go your way, are you a boy at all? So go your way. Come set your pleasure. I give you a back my bus, so go your way, so go your way. Never back my bus, so go your way, so go your way. So say your way. Say your way. I'm on go. Someone I'm you. You say mambo, say mambo, mambo, say mambo, mambo, say mambo, mambo, say mambo, Captain, so on your way. Yano, I block. One of the so my way, my way, so this,
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am here, and we are going to be doing a post-convention analysis tonight. We're going to talk all about Grand Judah tonight, and tomorrow we will talk more of a Liberian politics. We'll talk more of a Liberian politics by tomorrow. But today I want to devote this broadcast to the Grand Association, and I want to say welcome, Michael V, Google people in the house. We will be discussing what happened at the convention. How do we see what happened at the convention? You will have the time, you have the opportunity to call in and say exactly what you think about that convention. We will discuss every aspect of the convention. Let me give you an idea of some of the things we're going to be discussing at the convention. These are very important issues. These are very important issues that people care about, and people are still talking about these things even while we left the convention. So some of the things we're going to be discussing today include the business section. Well, when I say business, the business section I'm talking about is the Saturday morning program. That's the business section. What went wrong during the business section? Okay, everything that happened during the business session, we'll look at them piece by piece. We will talk about the administration and the board. What did it do? How did it do? What are things that they shouldn't have done that they did? We'll look at all of those. And we'll also look at the election of Madam Edith Poah. We will periscope the process. We'll talk about the pros and the cons, and we will try to talk about the presentation of the new constitution, the process leading to the new constitution, the presentation that was made by Mr. Kyrie. We'll talk about that, and then we'll also talk about the lesson that we all learned from the convention. What lesson did we all learn from the convention? Those are things we're going to be discussing. My panelists tonight will be Mr. Barnett Buffer, Mr. Bobby Tui is going to be here, Mr. Leva McCavin Leva Madison is going to be here, Madam Telman Brown King will also be here. Kwame Blah, I want to say welcome here. Kwame Blah is asking, will the election bring in the organization? Will this election bring unity in the organization? Kwame, this is a great question that my panelists will be discussing tonight. And thank you for asking the question. It's very, very germane. It's very, very important. And so my panelists will be discussing that question tonight. So Bill Willis said, when you miss your road in life, this is what can happen to you. I don't know what that means, but it's a Proverbs. I don't know what it's referring to. It's referring to the convention or the Grand Jury Association, or referring to me, or who is referring to. Bill, I want you to please break down your parable so that we can be able to. So tonight, I will have, like I said, Mr. Barnett Buford. Mr. Buford is good at where he is a supporter of Edith Poah, and he will be here tonight to join us in our panel discussion about these things I told you about. We'll have Mr. Edison Babitudi, McTudi Senior. He was going to be here. and Levi Madison is going to be here, and Thelma Brown King is going to be here. Let me bring on our first guest here. Mr. Bafo is here already. Welcome, bro.
How you doing?
I'm hearing you very loud and clear, and that's good. Hmm. Are you back home? You remain home. You remain home. You live, yeah. So you didn't go anywhere. So how was your last night? Because last night was the epic night, yeah.
Yeah. At the what was it? Yeah, it was all good. Not really, but
Hmm.
eventually we were able to put something together, right? Everybody, I mean, everybody like able to just
Okay,
uh,
we'll come to the election,
are you
but
see?
there
Are you
was
hearing
other.
me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you loud and clear. We will talk about the
Okay.
election as part of the process. I wanted to start with the convention business center. I
Hold
mean, the
on, let me.
welcome night was good. I think Bennett is trying to fix his camera, and he will be back. So we want to start with the business section because the Friday program was good. The Friday program was good, and so we don't have much to say because the Friday everybody was happy, everybody was together. There was no plenty talking. Everybody was just trying to adjust themselves. I arrived there pretty close to midnight. I think midnight after midnight by 12:30 something or 12:40. But when I arrived, the people were still there. A lot of people were still there. In fact, the convention in my purview was highly attended. Okay, let me bring Bennett back. So Bennett, first of all, let's look at the convention attendance. Uh, do you think the convention, the attendance was okay?
Yeah, I think it was okay. I mean, this
Yeah.
is the first. I guess this is the first convention since the
The first
virus.
convention, the first election convention, but we had convention 2020 in
Oh,
Kansas
in
City.
Kansas City, yeah, in Kansas City.
In Kansas City. So, like I said too, I agree with you. The convention was well attended.
Yeah.
Our people was filled. People were standing outside, and
Mm-hmm.
in my estimation, would be more than 300 to 400 people in our hall, or about that. Maybe we'll see what the record shows. But the welcome night was fine. What
Yeah.
you got any issue with the welcome night?
No, the welcome night was beautiful. I mean,
Hmm.
it was attended. It was well attended as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then let's go to the business section in the morning. Is there any
Uh,
part? Is there any part of the business section that you think has some problem?
yeah, I was a little bit surprised why nobody suggested, and of course I was not going to do that, but why nobody suggested that the agenda must be amended. You know, like the parliamentary rule when you are the convention. The convention is the decision making body. And if I was on the side of those that have grievances, I was going to suggest that the agenda be amended to include something that I'm worried about, and nobody did it. I was not going to correct anybody.
Why you are not going to correct anybody? Because you didn't want to play with your interest.
No, you know that you're going to no, logically we're going to maybe prolong the process, or something else may happen. But anyway, that
Honestly, look, here is my take on the entire agenda, and it's good you brought it out. I think the agenda was not the kind of agenda for a business section. I don't
Mhm,
know why Mr. Yubudi decided to deliver a speech in the business section because that is supposed to be a section that we're supposed to discuss issues. It's
mhm,
not where you're supposed to deliver speeches and so on. We're supposed to ask for amendment of the agenda. There
mhm.
was no call for a motion to amend the agenda,
Yeah.
and they just went straight ahead and started to. Even as that, I tried to go in there to bring up an issue that I believe was concerning me, and the president didn't allow it to happen. And I
Yeah.
think it was a travesty to me because we wrote specifically through him to the convention for our issues to be heard, and he didn't put that on the agenda. He has something like other matters. So then people started to filibuster the whole process during the constitutional review process. And that constitutional review, I think, but let's talk about even entering the entrance. You have anything to say about the entrance, people entering, paying money and stuff like that? Is there
No,
any
no,
observation?
no. I mean, everybody was fair enough. They paid their money, including myself, including yourself. We no,
Yeah.
but Grand G, they don't have Grand G. They don't have.
$50 is not anything for
Yeah,
Nigeria.
nobody has problem with. I mean, this is something that people have been doing all along. You go to a convention, you have to contribute your fair share to the organization. I think that was done as well.
How about the food?
Food was good. Food, I mean, adequate food, enough food, abundant food. People ate sufficiently.
I ate one piece of chicken. The person who really cooked that chicken,
Hmm.
I'm not going to a large convention like that and eat something really nicely seasoned.
Yeah.
That chicken was, it was one type of chicken. They gave me two, but then I chose to eat one. So it was very, very nice. I think the people, they were very great cook. I mixed the cassava pieces.
Hmm.
Before I could think about it, it was already done. People already ate the cassava pieces. So,
Yeah.
and McAfee, Romeo wanted to offer me whole cassava, but
Yeah.
then again, I didn't want. Okay, so the Constitution. Let's look at the Constitution process. What are your observation about the Constitution? The
Well,
new Constitution.
um, to be honest, I read it when it was online, um, but I didn't re read it again until we went to the hall. So, I mean, they did a very good job on the Constitution. I personally might disagree with some aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, they put in their time.
You are being very careful to talk tonight. I have problem with the Constitution presentation.
Mm.
I
No,
think it's a
you
calculated.
only say the Constitution, but you didn't talk
Yeah.
about the presentation. So,
Oh, okay. No, you're right. Okay, so the question was being answered as it was asked. So let's
yeah.
talk about the adoption process, the review, the presentation process. What are your observations?
Well, when it started, I thought they were just reading and presenting the Constitution. And after they did that, then I was surprised to hear that they wanted us to adopt the Constitution. And obviously, that's not how you adopt a Constitution, especially when you have a previous Constitution and you're trying to make some fixes in it. You don't adopt a Constitution like that. They adopt, I don't know if some people ever witness the adoption process of Constitution, but I actually did witness it in my experience, and that's not how it's done. It's done point by point. So you take every
Right.
article, they read the article, the secretary or whoever is designated from the Constitution Committee to read the article will read the article, and then in a body or since everybody will not speak together. Like for example, for this convention purpose, the way it should have been done was they put some genius guys together who already have knowledge about formation, who have the idea about constitutions to debate that issue with the presenters, and then point out some point. Then we put these points into vote, because again, that's the convention, right? Any point of disagreement will be put into vote, and it will be voted up or down. When the vote passes, that's the way the amendment will go. Even it might change from what was actually written. It might be amended differently. So, but they say, "Oh, you guys read it," and I don't know what actually in a bunch of the rest of the writing. So I couldn't accept to adopt that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Some of
The
my
whole
colleagues went to.
process, I agree
Yeah,
with you. The whole process was a mess. I
yeah,
think Mr. Kagwe didn't do well. I was not in favor of the adoption of that constitution, and the reason was very simple. If we had adopted that constitution, we'll be adopting multiple opinions,
yeah,
multiple suggestions. And then if you can't adopt the constitution, then you come and edit it. So
yeah,
once you adopt it, it remained like that. And
yeah,
there were some options the gentleman had. in there that were not resolved. I was expecting to say, okay, nine board members, 21 board members, or
Who
12
in
board
favor?
members. Yes. And then we take a vote. And then the
Yeah.
vote to carry either 9 or 21, that becomes the provision.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He was filibustering. In fact, he was arguing about what region and not region and stuff like that. He just read the Constitution, and then the board chairman told him that we cannot adopt the Constitution until we come to the next convention. I
The
think
next convention a year from now, and
that
but
I agree with the board chairman on that. I may have
yeah.
my differences with him,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree with him, and I told him that decision was right.
Yeah.
So how could we have gone through? Do you think Mackay Red didn't know what to do, or he was just doing it because he wanted to leave? Because he left right away after he presented the Constitution. He didn't stand for any voting process. He left the hall.
Where did he go? Did he go home or?
He left the hall. He left the whole place. He was not even around the whole place.
Yeah, I didn't see him again. Yeah.
Yeah, he went. I think he went to his hotel or wherever he went. But he left the whole place. He never waited for a vote to be raised.
Yeah.
And it was chaotic. So the chaos led the chairman to call police. What do you think?
Well, I live in Des Moines. I think that was not a good idea because the police in town here, they really don't like for African to gather in one location. And the moment they start to talk about policing, I know exactly. Yeah. The first time it started, 2 police officers came. Now that's now when the whole thing started.
Right.
Some officer was sniffing around the building and they left. And then nothing happened. And I know, well, these guys are not, when you see them, we always have program and the reason is some Liberians always most time here fight at occasion.
Yes.
And the police don't tolerate that. And in Iowa, that has been our misfortune. So I always kind of don't like the way, don't be around, unless if you want police to be, it has to be from the beginning. And that is, you are planning a program, you go to the police station, you ask for 2 officers, they'll charge you, I think, around $300 an hour. If you're, maybe something, they will give you a charge, and then you pay them. And then from the beginning, they will be present, and it will not create the awareness, the negative awareness that it does when somebody called them, you know. Yes. So you notice they came, they were all over the place and they were just kind of stopping the program. So you don't want to do that.
I was the first person the guy came to, like, go and sit. I'm like, what happened, sir?
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't hire them. If you hire them from the beginning, they communicate with their offices. When everything proceeding, they will tell them nothing bad is happening. From the beginning, if they were there, they will not. You see, at the election call, we were loud, we were playing. They were sitting there. That's because they were there from the beginning. And so that's what happened. So it's not a good idea. I don't know about other cities, but Des Moines, you don't just.
Why do you think, Mr. Yubote, the board will not think about that? They said they feel that it was just going to be all peaceful, knowing that there were some really controversial issues that were going to the convention. They should have preempted that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did not coordinate with the organizers of the convention. But I think if I'm not mistaken, again, I'm not adequately recollecting my mind on this, but I think it came from the fact that when the board chair said we accept the Constitution, but we're going to review and adapt it at the next convention, and I think the president came and said something there where it started from. I don't know exactly what he said.
The president said there should be everybody were asking that they want to vote, and the president came and said that the vote should take place, whether to adopt it. And they even put the vote up on the floor. Those who want the Constitution to be adopted now to put their hand up, and they felt that the majority put their hand up, and so they wanted to adopt the Constitution that night. I disagreed that night. I can say that any day. I don't think adopting the Constitution that night was going to be fair to us because there were too many things to be corrected in that Constitution.
But why would the president want the Constitution to be adopted? What do you think?
I think the president I mean, I should be asking a question, but thank you for asking. I feel personally the president should not have insisted because it was chaotic. Number two, the issues in the Constitution. I just pulled out the Constitution right now. There were options in the Constitution. Do you want this or do you not want this? We have to resolve those issues. Mr. Ray, who's supposed to proffer the votes and record his votes for him to make the correction in his Constitution before turning it over to the board, he did not. And at that particular point, the president was not chairing. The Constitution provides that during the revision of the Constitution, the board is presiding. So the president did not have the authority to override the board at that point because it was not within his purview. And I can let's put aside all my differences with what the board did do to me and not do to me. I just being very honest, very truthful here, that the Constitution says when they are reviewing the Constitution, the board will start and finish it. The president cannot come and say there should be vote when the board that's supposed to handle the process say no, we can't do it now. I thought it was overriding or maybe stretching his hand beyond his authority.
Yeah, and I mean, as some people, as like you said, rightfully said, Mr. Jeru, people can disagree with the manner in which the board is proceeding over the years, or maybe they might dislike the extended period of time that members on the board have stayed, or maybe the manner in which they got more comfortable and things they are more disagreeable from all points of view. But you cannot adopt a constitution like that. There's a real procedure. I mean, and I pray to God, saying it's not adopted, perhaps the next convention we will go there. Cool Head will will be around, and it goes in sequence. You start from point A to point B, and you put things into vote. People will come and you give 5 minutes for opposing view, 5 minutes for the supporting view, and then you take a vote. Especially where we are talking about 9 board members and 20. I feel the 20 board members are still many. We got to bring it down to 9. But what is the better way to regionalize the organization, East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast, or to go with 1 board member from each chapter? Those are things you can vote upon. There are 2 options. How will you adapt 2 options? I don't know how they.
So let me give an example. Here in this Constitution, in Article 4, organizational structure, he included on Section 4, administration. He has president, chief executive. He has B, vice president of Eastern Region. C, vice president of Midwestern Region. D, vice president of Western Region. Now, when he read those things, instead of him waiting for the body, let me welcome Bobby Tudy here. Instead of him waiting for the body to decide whether they want this or not want that, he came out and said, well, people say they don't want it, so we'll take that one out.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said they just wanted one board member from chapter.
Yeah.
For each chapter who's a bit 20. And I said, no, why?
That's what he said they just wanted one board member from chapter.
Yeah.
For each chapter who's a bit 20. And I said, no, why?
I see that Bobby playing his. Bobby, you got a little light over there? Is it possible?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, put the light on a little bit. Let me take you from the screen and you put your light on. So, why was he even going to do that? Why was he deciding for the body?
Again,
we can't go to the convention. We cannot go to the convention and make the decision that the body is supposed to make. He's not going to throw it out of the window. Whether you heard it outside, it was still there. He should not have even brought it if he knew that you were not going to be part of it. You have deleted it from there, but you brought it, you distributed the Constitution among people, and the people seen it, and then you make a decision. Oh, people say they don't like it, so we throw it away. So how are you throwing it away? Who say you should throw it away? Why is the body wanted it? So we're not giving the chance to vote on that.
And I think
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
I think the listeners must understand, especially some that attended a convention, to adopt a constitution requires putting every point of disagreement into vote
Yeah,
and
you're good, Bobby.
coming up with one agreement, and then it passes by a majority vote. That's how
Yeah.
you do it. You don't shove the constitution down anybody's throat and then you have the unintended consequence just because you hit a certain group of leaders who are heading the organization. You don't do that. And
And this is another. Let me bring another one for those who are watching and listening. There's another one on our article. There's Article 4 organizational structure. You have Section 5 autonomous branches. You have A chapters. You have B Boston District, C Honorable District, D Chin District. And then instead of here allowing the body to say, well, we want to include our district organization into the constitution to give them some authority, which people have been advocating. He just said, no, people suppose say we should have put it there, so we throw it away. So we didn't
correct.
get a chance to discuss
And
it all.
and, and Gibson, before Bobby comes in, real quickly, let me stress a little important point on that. When Grand Jury organization was incepted, I mean, it has now nobody anticipated this type of growth. Where now we have so many subdivisional organizations that support the Grand Jury Association activities, especially the districts were experimented, and they are pretty successful. I mean, Konemo District, Chien District, Basan District. These are the effective district within the county. Now, if we want to reduce the board members, another addition, since we have it there, like if we're going to put that into vote and say, okay, let's adopt these subdivisions as part of Grand Jury Association organization in America, then we could technically derive 3 board members from each district. What that means was, that's why for me, I'm supporting, that is, we Konemo district people go to our convention, we vote. Maybe candidates will come up to want to contest to be on GGAA board. When I 7 of them, 8 of them, how many number they are, the 3 that have the highest vote, and they will be elected to come on the national board of directors.
Right.
What that will do is it will bring up the best competent people from each district. And the qualification will go by the prescription that Grand Jury Association actually want. Maybe you might be a degree holder or do this. Or that will create a working relationship between the district organization and GGAA. Currently, there's no working relationship.
He did not read that.
Yeah,
That
so
degree aspect did not read that. So it was going to be a catch for people.
yeah, so
Read, board members should have it. Now I support that. You want to go?
I love that.
It's a technical area. It's a very gray area because there are some people who are not college graduates, but they have leadership ability. They understand what they are doing. So if we say college, we could vote upon it and see whether the Grand Juryans want people with degree to be board members. I would support that. I want, if you want to go to the board, you should be at least a associate degree or a bachelor or whatever, doctorate degree. You know exactly what the purpose of the board should be. Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah. First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you have my voice playing in the background.
Yeah, I got to shut it down. I was watching my phone at the same time. So good evening to the listeners here and my in-law, Mr. Bafo. I say good evening. I'm still hooked from all the activities and
yeah, brother, drink some coffee.
I've been drinking some fluids. That is getting better. I'm even a little bit audible. So yeah, again, thank you for bringing me on the show. I'm laser focused on my message to Grenadians tonight. Wherever you guys were deliberating on, I wasn't actually paying keen attention because I'm frustrated, I'm sad, and I'm out of words on so many fronts. What transpired this particular weekend?
Let's start with the Saturday. We are discussing the business section on Saturday. I'm sure you don't have problem with the food or people come in, pay in the hall. I don't think those are issues we want to talk about.
No.
But on Saturday, the business section, what part of that business section that really frustrates you? We're talking about.
Oh, first of all, I think the organizing committee in Iowa, we must applaud them for a job well done. Irrespective of the hauling and pulling and the wrangling and all kinds of stuff, they came out, from my point of view, with flying colors. They were able to, people ate on time, they were full, left over, but now when it comes to the business session, first of all, before I got in the hall, what I heard was that the minutes of the meeting was not even adopted. They went straight head on.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about. Backup raised the issue.
Head on.
They didn't even put the meeting agenda up for adoption.
Yeah. So this is what when I was coming back driving 4 hours from Minnesota, from Iowa, I took my time to reflect on everything, because I'm a deep reflective person. Then I was trying to make a picture of everything that transpired, the whole picture, from me believing, from me. Vera, I'm on the show. Says Vera, I'm on the show. Can I call you back? Yeah, I'm home. I'll call you right back. All right. So sorry, gentlemen, and sorry to So welcoming, I believe in. At first, I thought certain people were about to do the right thing. I supported you throughout the process, but coming, to bring everything in the picture, I feel, the feeling that I took from Ubote's side is like I was deceived. I was deceived. I was played.
How are you played?
It might not be purposely from Ubote, but there might have been some on a hand that did not allow my grievances to even come on the agenda, and it was sent to other matters. Other matters. I felt there was, throughout Ubote reign, 90% of his executive, they were on the money. I want to be frank here tonight. From his chief of staff to what I heard, his vice president, and so many people that were on his team were not in sync with his plans. They were doing things out of the way. Now, I don't know how the secretary, Brother General, after lengthily discussing with Ubote, and he agreed that I am one of the stakeholders in this community as a son of the founding father, that my grievances, and I was speaking on behalf of all grandchildren that were aggrieved of the process. And he promised me, and not to allow my stuff on the floor and putting other matters. I felt that was being deceptive from my point of view. I don't know how my issues got to business matter, but all those things will kind of work out in a way. By the time we get to the issues, the board, they knew that we were about to get rid of them. They both saw the light flash right before their eyes, so they jumped into action. I call that a shocking reaction when they saw that 90% of those in the crowd, the people, the conference, the national conference, was against the rule and stuff, and subsequently they were going to be out of power in 30 days. They jumped into action. What was the action? We called the police. We said there's disturbance. I can be on record. Prince never heard this. McCarvey heard this. The police told us that the individual who called in the name of Omega Kala said that the Grandians had guns in the hall.
What?
I am telling you, I want to be on record. The police, 3 police officers said the reason we came here because they came on 2 occasions and they went back and said, oh, this is just an ordinary convention. You guys can handle yourself. Kala called him twice. Omega called him twice. They went back. The 3rd time, he knew that this was getting serious. He had no alternative but to say, oh, there was gun in the crowd. Somebody has a firearm in the crowd. And when the American police heard about the firearm, that's how they came and they were frightened, and they decided at least they wanted to see what was going to happen. But when the crowd, they couldn't get control of everything, he went talking in the ear that he was adamant there was a gun in the crowd, and the police had no alternative to send everybody home. And that was the means, because the next day after 12 o'clock, the bull was going to be in control. If we had stayed over there until we have resolved everything, the bull would have been dead by now. But that was the last ditch plan. All it was well planned. That was the way of getting on top of it, because they knew. They heard the voice of the people. The people wanted them out. It was clear. But for saw it, or you saw it, that the people were tired of the rain. So that was the largest effort. Now when they do this, they take over by 12 midnight. The next day, it will be the turn. And I feel, sometimes, I'm sorry, Mr. Yubote. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I will be coming hard at you tonight. That's why you see me the kind of way I am. People think that I'm aggressive, but I'm a passionate person. I do not bend. I have principle in life. And I always stand to be correct. I always want to be on the rightful side. When I'm standing alone, I prefer to stand alone as much as I'm speaking the truth. If I'm only the only person in my camp, I always want to speak the truth, the power. People come out and say, for the sake of peace, let endorse Edith. Not in the slaughter of my feet, I can ever endorse Edith. I can't do that. After talking to this lady for almost 2 weeks, mama, this thing is your thing. But let's go to the right channel. Let's go to the right channel so everybody will know that Grenadians are not in the days, or in the 60s. We're not in the 70s or 80s. Let's do the right thing. Full well that the bull was impeached illegally. I mean, the commissioner was impeached illegally. Full well that the bull has no jurisdictions or mandates to appoint anybody to appoint election commissions. But the irony is, either Poah, this is supposed to be a learned person. I don't know. Sometimes power becloud our cognizance. Sometimes power, because of power greed, our reasoning is kind of blurry. I told the lady, Mama, do you think an illegitimate body, an illegal body that is glaring, that even a child will understand that these people have no jurisdiction to appoint?
But let me play the devil's advocate a little bit. Let me play the devil's advocate and pick your brain a little bit. I'll go to Baffer. I'm playing the devil's advocate. Is politics not for maneuvering? That when in politics you maneuver to outsmart your opponents? Are we going to blame or either for the blunder of the bull or the administration?
As you rightly said, politics is for maneuvering. But wherein those who are supposed to preside over the process are compromised, or those who are supposed to preside over the process have already taken sides, then we don't come to being, that is not outmaneuvering. It is corruption, it is full of bias, and it's full of thievery, and it's full of disregard of the population, or disregard of the membership.
So what you want Edith to have done? What did you expect Edith to have done in this situation?
No, as a sound and learned person, our Baba Tudi will not allow. Listen, what you think happened? They appointed me as board member from Minnesota, but after deep reflections, I said, listen, I don't want to go on the board. I don't want to go on the board. Why? Because I want to be elected. I want to be elected by my people. Appointment from me is not the right thing. Our Baba Tudi want to be elected because I don't want any kind of pull in the holding tomorrow or anything that will hold my foot. And I convey that to my president. At the rightful time, when I'm elected, so be it. After talking to Edith, I said, Edith, you are a learned person. Why would you want an illegitimate body to preside over your presidency? Why? I mean, let's put everything aside. Why would you phantom that? Now today,
which one was the illegitimate body? Which one was
because the election commission?
Oh, the election commission. Okay, let me I'm gonna get Buffer respond on that.
Well, when it comes to Edith, you cannot ascribe. Unfortunately, you cannot ascribe any blame to her when Mr. Yiwote opened the forum and called the grievance party, like Mr. Otavius Gamer, Mr. Boti Tayo, and Edith herself, and set the process in motion that the convention would decide what exactly will happen. Edith did not raise a contention. She gladly accepted. In fact, all three of them accepted. So she didn't say anything. It is the management of the process that you must blame. But she was on board. Whatever the convention will have decided that day, like for example, to readopt, either to reinstate, and that is the point where I want you to reflect on. I'm quite surprised that the disagreement, the main issue was not put on the agenda, and why you were there and you did not raise a contention. Because before you came on the show, Mr. Jeru and I were talking. If I was in your situation, I was going to suggest that the agenda be amended to include, number one, putting a vote on the floor for between the new election commission versus the old election commission. Two, another vote on the floor to make sure that as to whether the two candidates that were rejected, whether the convention thought it wise for them to be to be involved into the election. And for us from the ED camp, we wanted it to happen. After we check our numbers, we knew we were going to maybe more or less win. So it was not going to be a threat. So if the convention allowed these people to vote, I was even talking to some friends. We can do the traditional voting. Anybody that from behind, that for Boti, stand the line behind Boti. If there's no ballot, we can do hand counting. That was something we could do, but you can't blame Edith for it. What do you think? And my other question for you before you come in, Mr. Tode, is you wanted the board to be removed so much so that you wanted the constitution to be adopted without you properly understanding what was in the constitution that came up with so many suggestions. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I'm not hearing.
On what which yardstick did you use that to say that I didn't understand what was in the constitution?
Because
the drafted constitution was disseminated among those that were interested, and everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So as I'm saying, I don't know which yardstick you use to measure or to quantify or to find out as to what.
Well, let me tell you the yardstick quickly. You come back in. Let me tell you the yardstick.
The constitution, the drafted.
Let me tell you the yardstick, then you'll come back in.
No. Let me end. You'll come back. So this is what I'm saying. The constitution was disseminated among every Nigerian. It was disseminated. Huh?
Go up and come back in. Go up and come back in. Go up and come back in. Your audio is not good.
What?
Okay.
It's coming.
Come back in.
It's coming now.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me go up. Look, Bernard, let me just say this. Let me tell you what I think about the whole process when it comes to James Ubote's failure to put the issue that he was written. Mr. Ubote received 4 complaints that were intended for the General Assembly to decide. The Elected Election Commission wrote a letter complaining that we were removed illegally, that the process was not fair, and so it should not. The General Assembly should be able to decide that. Then the Bote group decided that they were wrongfully disqualified by the board, and they were not going to listen to the appointed commission because it was illegal. So they wanted the General Assembly to decide that. Then the Babetudi group wrote, Babetudi and others wrote, asking the General Assembly that they have interest as members, which is in the Constitution that any individual member can complain.
Yeah.
Then Chairman Brown King wrote and protested that the chaplain of Edith Poah team had never attended 2 of the last 4 conventions.
Okay.
So Edith was campaigning against both attire that he has not attended 2 of the last 4 conventions, but her chaplain has not attended the last 2 of the 4 conventions. In fact, she has not even attended 1 of the last 4 conventions. So Tema Abasi wrote and wanted Jane Ubote to bring the issues on the floor. So you got 4 complaints, from prominent individuals, and you refuse to put it on the agenda as issue with the election commission. And he said it was going to be on other matter. So here's what I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong. Jane Ubote was playing game with the board, and you were playing game with us. Here is what he wanted to do. He wanted the convention to cancel the election and allow him another more year to serve as president. He was not interested in putting the election commission issue on the floor, because the election commission issue, the body will have decided and say, you know what, with all of this, we won election. We still won election. Besides whatever they say, we came here for election, we won election. He was afraid that when he put the election issue on the floor, the decision will be made and election will have still gone ahead. Maybe the body was going to vote and say, you know what, the process that removed voter tire was not fair. In fact, you'll bring everybody back. Let everybody contest, and then we'll cast our ballot. And then that will not make Jane Ubote to continue with his administration. And I think you are playing game with that. And you're also playing game with the board. You are playing game with the board so that the board also can have a consideration of him, so that he can serve as interim president for him to go forward. Unfortunately, he fell out with the board even before the convention went anywhere. Because
so my question for you is, why did he say that the Constitution must be adopted? Then what was going to be the effect?
Well, the Constitution could not have been adopted, because even if the Constitution adopted, nothing can be effective of that Constitution, because the Constitution have options that have not been delivered. I will be one of the people who are going to argue and say, but what kind of Constitution is this?
Including Mr. Ture. Let's try and ask Mr. Ture and see, because I was asking him why he wanted the Constitution to be adopted when actually it was not clarified.
Mr. Ture was actually laser focused on the case to be put on the floor. Am I correct? Oh my God, my man, you're not good tonight.
Correct.
Okay.
Because when it
go ahead.
Wow, you guys can hear me, huh?
Yeah,
we hearing you now.
Go ahead.
Because if my grievances, if my case were heard, there are a lot of things are gonna happen. You know, there wasn't gonna be about this bull. In my grievances, we were going to correct the mistake of the bull. We're going to settle that case. We're going to settle the whole elections. The whole election process, we're going to come with different picture. We're not going to even go there, even talking about the adaptation of the new constitution, blah blah blah. Because when we settle the issue with the election commissions, so many things were going to happen that night. But unfortunately, I don't know if, I think from my point of view, I think as you rightly noted, I think Mr. Ubote was conniving. I think he was very deceptive, because he wanted to win. He wanted to come out victorious, not knowing, we thought from the get-go that this case, because our grievances are showing such magnitude.
The ball was playing while you were trying to play the ball.
People wrote. I wasn't the only person who wrote. And not making it the primary issues on the agenda. It's so deceptive. Right. The board knew that after 12 midnight, this guy power was going to be over. So I was surprised that he was even start talking about the next convention issue and the petty things on the agenda. And the time was just running. running. Now you are the support of Edith Poah. That's what they wanted. Because according to one of my close brother, my friend God, he's a jovial guy, he's a very funny guy. God to me said, but Bobby too was stupid. We had to play delay tactics because we saw the crowd. We knew we didn't have a crowd. We knew that we never had a support. And that is coming from my friend and brother who also grew up together from SPS all the way to Bishop Julian Hart. He said, Bobby, listen, we knew from the crowd we did not have the popular mandate. So that's why we're playing the delay tactics game. And then some people just fell right in the trap. So that's why they're making all that noise ball. So they had to call the police. When the police came in, that's what we did. The case was settled. It was settled. It was a done deal.
I think
we got the next day call police. And the police was standing right there.
I think the police
standing right there. Oh, you will take him. I don't know if you are.
Oh, Bobby, your internet is not easy. It's not good as easy.
Yeah.
But listen, why you think when people are making noise, I was showing my time. So even they got a constitution.
Okay, Bobby, I think.
Yeah, why you think the guy read when he was reading the Constitution and he kept going on over little issues? I was pointing to my wife, my man, we don't have time.
Okay, Bobby, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Bobby. I'll come back to you. Let me introduce Mr. Lee Vacan, former vice president of the GGAA, and he's one of our opinion leaders. Mr. Khan, I didn't see you there. I don't know if you were there, but if you were there, whether you were there or not, you have observed, you have followed, you have asked people, you saw, you know what, you probably know some of the things that happened there. What's your take here?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jeru. I wasn't there, but I followed the business section that morning. I was hoping to see engineers coming together and being able to create a resolution that will better serve our community. And unfortunately, it did not end the way it's supposed to, and it ended, the way we all saw it ended. And I think you guys make a very clear point. I've witnessed professionally, or conventions where we get the residing officers and also have board member president, all that. And I witnessed it at a local level. I witnessed the Constitution being amended and all that. And you guys are right. The process, that Constitution was just introduced in the book, and they wanted people to just accept it. And I know the crowd was a little hectic around the doing of our leaders recent times, so they were frustrated and they just wanted to accept and move on. That's what the crowd was up to. They were not really trying to see let's break down this and do that. But one of the things that really make me feel bad is we all hear every day, we quote the conference being the largest decision-making body and all that. What I saw in there was people overlooking the entire conference and just making individual decisions.
Yes.
And there was no parliamentary process that will follow in there. Even let's say Omega disagreed that constitution should be implemented. He's not a presiding officer. He can't just take mark and go there and say, this is why I say and we should follow it. No. His opinion should be a suggestion to the conference to say, I point of wherever, and based on this, I don't think we can accept this constitution based on this. I'm making a suggestion that we should vote on the decision that will move it to next time. The board is not qualified, was not even residing a situation to just go there and say, you know what, we accept it, we'll talk about it next year. No, because the convention
let me get your point clear. Because people are listening to, they can go with the right information. You are saying that even if Mr. Kala wanted it to be reviewed at the next convention, it would have been a matter of vote on the floor.
Yes.
Asking about it, law. They have presented a constitution. There are issues that need to be resolved, and I suggest that we send it to the next convention, and the body can decide whether they want to adopt it there and fix it right there or carry to the next convention.
Exactly. That's what it is. Because the board no longer the leading body in our hall. The board is almost like we all are in there. So the individual board member would then make suggestions. You will not go and make a decision because it's a convention that will make a decision in that process. Even though we all agree, you and I and Bafo and everybody will agree that you never just take constitution and just read 20 pages and say you're adopted. No, you don't do that. We agree to it. The process was wrong. But it takes someone to bring a suggestion to either vote to not adopt it or to vote to adopt it. That's how these meetings supposed to work. And I was so disappointed to see a lot of educated people in there, and they were not following one process. Everything was just
Mr. Khan, my frustration though, I want you to speak to that, and I will bring
yes,
the other gentleman in. My frustration is Mr. Cairo. The Constitution Revised Committee, when they take over, they take vote one on issue one by one until they exhaust the issue.
yes, yes.
And because when they take the vote, they say, okay, we want to go 10 president, or we want to go one president. They say, okay, we want to maintain our one president. You cross out the 10 president suggestion, you put one president, you take notes, and then you go and make all the corrections. But he was not even willing to do that. He was canceling things by himself. Oh, we're supposed to have region, three regions, then we have 9 board members, but the people say they don't want region, so we'll take it from there. That was the kind of way he was proceeding. I think he didn't guard it. He did not guard the audience very well. What do you think?
The first thing, it was illegal to distribute a required by the Constitution, distribute a document in 30 days, to sit there and start changing it yourself. That was illegal in the first place.
Right.
The document that was distributed should be the one that we discuss. If people disagree to a certain thing and want to amend it at that point, that's why you do it article by article. That's how to do it. So if anything needs to be changed, then it is the approval of the people to change that thing. There's a reason why they tell you to distribute. You tell it this ahead of time. You can't just come and say, you know what, I will change the one right now and pull 4 here, -2 and X, change X to Z. You can't do that. That's illegal. That makes the document or fraudulent. Let me take that word by fraudulent back, but that makes the document unworthy, because the one you give us that we read and about to argue, then you present us something different. So that was wrong. I 100% agree with you guys, and on that, the entire process was. It wasn't the way it's supposed to be done. They rushed it, and I think there was something under the sleeve that was being implemented that nobody knows.
Okay, let me go back to let me bring this person in here. So who is that? Oh, Tama. Okay, Tama, I can't see you. Tama, I can't see you. You need to do it again. If you are using iPhone, you should go to Safari, then you will come in. Don't use Google Chrome.
And Mr. Gibson, I just wanted to go. I'm driving, so just for me to go for just one.
Yeah.
Let me come in here, Mr. Jeru.
Yes.
Mr. Jeru.
Yes.
Mr. Jeru, can you hear me?
Call me Mr. Jeru.
Yeah.
Bobby. Okay, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, okay. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, German, let me see if I can fix my man. Let me pull up music there and I will fix my man quickly.
Barnett, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but let me fix
Bafo,
you.
can you hear me?
Bobby, I can hear you. I can hear you, Bobby. Yeah.
You guys can hear me? Wow, this.
Yeah, just hold on for me.
Zango, Zango, je suis fan de la go Zango. Mi umalia din ablay, kam te wulu yellow. Allez, mon yep, mon diable, baby, nyanyo, émeraude. Saphir est jolie, mais c'est toi la plus Zango. Tout ce qui brille n'est pas de l'or, c'est toi ma go. Rubis rougit les yeux, mais c'est toi que j'ai choisi. Tu es ma pierre précieuse, diamant et petit. Ma pépite, ma pépite, ma pépite. Zango, lago Zango, Zango, je suis fan de lago Zangoli. Mi umalea din ableka zekemeti. Allez, on fait qu'on souvent nous pour faire tomber yo. Émeraude, saphir scintille, c'est toi la plus Zango. L'or ne m'a pas fait craquer, c'est toi ma go. Rubis c'est très aimé, mais c'est toi ma bien-aimée. Diamant est très précieux, mais c'est toi ma préférée. Ma pépite, ma pépite, ma pépite. Nima, 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 c'est toi, bout toi, c'est toi, bout toi. Paparapa, atikiri paparapa, 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 atikiri paparapa, paparapa, atikiri paparapa, 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 atikiri paparapa. Voilà la partie de ton corps qui me dérange. Nima wewe adongo magana bonga bonga. Nima wewe adongo magana bonga bonga. Aye ngemango, aye ngobanga, aye bongango, aye bongango. Nima, 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 c'est toi, boutoué, c'est toi, boutoué.
Okay, so we were trying to get Bible situated. Let me see. I think Thelma, your video is not on. And let me see. Got all my. Yeah, thank you very much. Levi, you say you want? Bobby, you want? You were saying something. Bobby, you were saying something. Or you want for Mr. Khan to finish his thought and then he leave? Mr. Khan,
I think he still has. Yeah, so two things I wanted to quickly just touch on for at least less than a minute here is, and I thought with your brother about the Edith, why would have been Edith respond to this process? Or maybe the other side have outsmarted the process. I would say they outsmarted the process, and it may not be Edith works. It may not be Edith who did that. I think Mrs. Poah, from what I watched from the beginning, she was in accordance with anything the convention will say, even if it comes to whether it will favor her or not.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Agrees.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but let him finish, then you can talk, okay?
Yeah. So she did not plan this. It's the system.
Yeah, I just want to say something, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Bobby, you hearing us? No, Bobby, your internet is. Are you in a basement or something? We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you. Nobody's hearing you. We're not hearing you. Go up and come back again. Okay, Bobby, let Mr. Khan finish. Let Mr. Khan finish his thought, then we can fix your own. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that I don't think Madam Poah planned to even say I will go out there and outsmart people and do all this to take the leadership. I don't think so. It just that the system failed. People really did not know what they were doing, both on the administration side and on the both side, and it resolved to favoring her. And for people to say, I would speculate to say she should not have accepted the process and say, let's cancel it and do that. There was no other alternative in the first place. If they were coming home, what they were coming to? So let's say they never had election on Sunday. What they were coming to is you would just tell the president or what's going on. So the only alternative at the time was to have that elections. And Mr. Poah went out there having the confidence that wherever happened, she can come out victorious and rule Nigeria people and put the people back together.
She was gladly accepted.
Went out there having the confidence, and I think I appreciate what she did. However, it's a challenge moving forward. We all know that, but that's why she signed up for it, and she will gladly accept it. On the last thing on you go the part, how will you make important agenda items grievances that need to be resolved by the conference, and you put it on other matters? That just, I don't know. I think that was a straight recipe for disaster. What happened? And that's I think he was using that as a bargaining chip for something. He tried to bargain that for something, and it did not go his way. And even though I felt bad, he was disrespected a lot. It shouldn't have been. People would have restrained themselves.
He invited the disrespect. The way he behaved, he could have lost all the reputation that he built for himself, all the good job he did. He would have ruined everything. He would have ruined everything at that convention because of that.
Yeah.
If he had conducted that business section the way it's supposed to have been done, where we sit around and then the agenda is read. This is the agenda. Is there anybody who wants to make an amendment to the agenda? We make the amendment. If it's very important, they put it up. If it's not important, they put it in the other matter. Nothing like that happened. He was giving speeches. There's not speech time. Business section is time to discuss the issue. He was giving speeches. But, before you go, let me bring Tama Brown King. Tama, how you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, I don't know how to get on the camera. Can you guys hear me?
If you look on your phone, you will see the camera. You will see the stop camera is highlighted. It will say, so tap on the camera. Tap on the video camera.
When I do this, it's off.
And then do it again.
Okay, do it again. Let's see. So that's all you have.
That's what happened. Like your camera is facing.
Your camera, you think your camera facing you or facing on the other side?
Because it almost looks like you are in the darkness. The camera is on, but it shows like you are in the darkness.
Around the way you can turn the camera to yourself and away from you.
Now I'm using my desktop though.
Oh, your desktop don't have a camera on it. All right, go ahead. We can hear you.
Oh, they saying their camera. You got to buy a webcam.
It does. I just don't know. I use it all the time to do.
The camera highlighted.
Yeah.
You gotta on your desktop. On your desktop camera, you got to be able to open it. There's a thing that can close the view of the camera on your desktop. You got to slide it. Slide it.
Let me slide it.
Yeah, slide it. It's on, but just slide it.
And yeah, my own can fall. My own can lay down, then it close it. Like
I think it's
right now. You can't see me. It fall. So
yeah, there might be. Yeah, there might be something that can open it and close it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of windows open, but let's go ahead. I don't have enough time though.
Look,
all right, go ahead.
I want Mr. Khan to hear you before he goes, and then we'll bring Bobby. Bobby will bring you in. I think we're hearing you now. Tama,
can you guys hear me?
You wrote, Mr. You wrote to the president.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit now. It's good. I think you can speak from there. So you wrote the president. You wrote through the president to the convention to hear your case. The case you raised was the Chaplain candidate on Madam Poah team.
The treasurer.
I've never certified the convention requirement. But Mr. G, but you did not put your issue on the floor. How did you feel?
Well, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you clear.
Okay. To be honest with you, the plan was I was going to go on stage and read a letter, and I was going to withdraw. Yes. I was going to withdraw the letter.
Okay.
To be honest, I agree with everything Levi Khan just said, because that's what, those were my observation that day. To be honest, like with me, I'm a very honest person, and I will say as it is, whether people like it or not. Edith did not hijack it wasn't Edith's plan. It's just that the leadership, they didn't have a concrete plan in place to carry on the conference that morning. There was no point Edith is the one who was the qualifying candidate. Why would you bring the people who were disqualified on the stage to acknowledge them? They were already disqualified. I understand we want peace in the community, but sometimes in implementing peace, we have to make sure we do the right thing. You cannot come to a conference and then everyone is already hyper and discombobulated, and then you bring two candidates who were disqualified on the stage with the only sole candidate who is qualified, and then you acknowledging that piece. That was wrong. And my thing, I think Mr. Yubote was blindsided by his own administration, his team. He was blindsided. So in the end, they were working with
blindsided. What do you mean you were blindsided?
Because I think they were working with the board. This thing has nothing to do with Edith. And I'll say it here tonight before every grand jury. This thing was not planned. It was something that was going on underneath. And I kept saying it. I even said it outside to someone. And I said, this thing is so organized here today between the board and a couple of James Yubote own boys that he doesn't know that were working with the board. Because, honestly, people are tired. People get tired when they're working with GGAA. It's a draining situation. And sometimes people just want to let it go. The business section is for business. It's not for speeches. It's not for us to sit down here and talk things. You put the main agenda, you put it to AOB, and then you expect us to discuss Constitution. Kai will come in and reading Constitution to us like we kindergarten students. This thing should have been done a long time ago. And when you know these things and say it, then the thing you want to cause trouble in the community. And these things, I saw it coming a long time ago. The opportunity presented itself and Edith took it. And if it were me, I was going to take that opportunity too, because she was the only qualifying candidate at that point. So this thing was not organized by Edith's team or Edith people planning and this and that. Even the board, I don't see anybody on that board that was able to even plan. It was just the opportunity that arrived, and that's what we derived at. We all joke around.
Bobby's concern is he's blaming Edith because he believes that the process that allowed Edith to go in the process was fraudulent, because he believed that a commission that was appointed by the board was illegal, and so Edith should not have allowed the illegal commission to tell her to do anything or to qualify her or to say anything to her. Bobby, is that what you said? Did I put you right?
Yeah, but listen though, Gibson. So if we had not had, what was the way forward after Sunday? Because there was no plan in place.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Listen. So
Your phone breaking up, man.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Bobby,
But
tonight, Bobby, you always do. I don't know what happened tonight.
good. That's a good question. But in the same vein, Tama, that is not an excuse. That is not an excuse to
But what
override
would
or
she have
overrule our
done?
constitution. It is clear in our constitution. My phone breaking up?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Speak. We hear you, Lily. We hear you. Go ahead.
Man, for some reason tonight, I don't know. For some, it's just crazy.
Go ahead.
The guys,
Go
they're
ahead.
still working on me. They're still working on me. So there's a situation. Not because of Edith's position, that does not give the right. So
Go ahead.
the way forward shouldn't be an excuse. The way forward shouldn't be an excuse for us to overrule our constitutions. It's sad tonight. It's so sad. But so it's not an excuse. Either is a learned person. She understands that when you allow an illegitimate or illegal body to preside over your presidency, no matter where you go, it will be tainted. Your presidency will be tainted by illegitimacy. There's nothing she can hide from this. Yeah. As I was saying, even a third grader can read a part of the Constitution that the board has no authority to appoint commissions, election commissions. So how do we go about that? I mean, how does she reconcile that? That today she's in office with an illegal body presiding over a presidency. You expect me to call Edith my president? You expect me to call Edith my president when I know our organic law was abused? So you tell me now, I'm a member principal. I do not thrive until like no petty jobs that say, oh, because of peace, let's do this. Because of peace, let's do that. No. I will not sleep in my bed comfortably. I cannot call Edith my president. I cannot work with Edith. I don't consider her president. No way I would do that. I'm a man of principle, and I stand to be corrected. If I'm going to be the only person on the island to say Edith is not my president, so be it. Because she was not elected.
Let me play the devil's advocate a little bit. Let me play the devil's advocate.
You know, so I want to make another point. It's so sad that my voice tonight. Listen. I want to make another point. We were not outsmarted.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Deception.
Yes, I'm not hearing.
Well, I just want to go, sir, and thank you for the time.
Okay.
Mr. Khan, go ahead.
I just want to publicly say this. I want to call Mr. Omingakara to resign his position. What he did this current weekend was bad. We learn in this country. When you do this kind of thing, you owe an apology to the Grand Jury people. There was no fight in that hall that would have brought police to stop a democratic process that was going on. He needed to apologize to the Grand Jury people and resign his position and let someone else take on this organization to reunite it. And thank you tonight. I will say thank you for what you do always. And Mr. Baffa, thank you so much for being very clear on some of these points. I appreciate it. You have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Is Mrs. Khan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You were trying to make a point. Go ahead. I think I wanted to ask you a question, but go ahead.
What point?
Well, for me, my question, I wanted you to at least make Bobby understand, just like you said. He probably trying to think that Edith. My question, let's just play a devil advocate. What he thought would have happened, for example, Edith was qualified by the outgoing, they dismiss election commission. And even then, when they brought they appointed another election commission. Is he saying that, well, there shouldn't have been election, and then what? An interim government or what? I'm just, because a point is giving a hard time, so I want you to also speak on that and see what he think would have been the remedy. You know,
Bobby's argument is,
yeah,
Bobby is not arguing that Edith was not qualified, but she is arguing that the dismissal of the previous commission and the appointment of the other commission makes the process illegal. So she should not have allowed the new commission to preside over an election that she would take part in.
Right.
That's what he is arguing. It means an illegal commission is administering an election process, and she takes part is illegal. But when I'm trying to raise a question that we all need to think about. What would have been the way forward had the election not taken place? And this is why the administration, the board, every one of them supposed to act properly at that convention. Make sure the business section will resolve the sticker issues, and then everybody have a clear mind as to where we are going. That's why I don't blame the election. I don't blame the election process, because somebody has to come back. If the voting time was finished and the convention did not give me additional time, and if the election was not held, will the board chairman now be the president and the board chairman at the same time?
Correct. So
will it be a panacea for peace? So I don't think so.
No. Like I said, Mr. Buffer, there was no way forward. We went to Iowa and there was no plan. That, and that's why I kept telling these people, if you say you don't want election, what is the plan? And if you say you want election, what is the plan? I mean, everything in this life we had to plan. For months we've been going back and forth with this thing. And when I blew the first whistle, that, when Gibson and group started, and they started on the right note. And then in the end, I just felt like things were not moving in the right direction, and I said it. But politics is interest, okay? And if you have the opportunity, you seize that opportunity. And anyone, if I was in Edith's shoes, I was going to seize the opportunity too, because there was no plan forward. If you said no election, what will you do? Did you want for James Yibote to stay there for another year? Is his team ready to work with him for another year or 2 years, like people were claiming? Like, these were some of the things that were not answered. These were questions. Let's be fair. Like with me, I would say I'll be fair. I'm not an Edith supporter, but we'll call spade a spade. James Yibote had no business bringing the two candidates. When he did that, I was like, oh my God, why would you bring the two candidates? I understand you want peace, but you could have just spoken to everybody in the hall to ease the temper. If you're doing that, which means you come in to play some kind of game. So he confused everyone when he did that morning. Everyone was like, but why is he doing that? I was like, but why will you call people who are not qualified on stage and come and tell them they should commit? So I was like, oh, are these people qualified now? Are we having election tomorrow with 3 candidates, or what is going on? And I asked that question on the table. I was sitting like, seriously, you don't do that kind of stuff. And when you go into things, I think this is a learning process for even the Poah administration. Come for convention, you should sit down and have a planning team that will sit down and plan the convention with you. Know your own agenda. Stick by the agenda. Don't deviate from the plan. If there was no election, what was going to happen? What were we going to end up? Who are going to be head of the organization today, this Monday? Who was it?
Yeah. And just to make the point, I'm sorry, Bobby's phone is giving you a hard time. He He could have been here to articulate his point, but for me, I don't know what he really wanted. Madam Poah followed the rules. She was qualified. And when even Mr. Yuete brought the other two candidates on the floor, I was thinking like they wanted to, like everything Gibson, like people said, the convention has the higher authority. I thought they were going to put things into vote and say, let's start with the previous election commission's grievance. They give you guys 5 minutes. You make a presentation. The board makes its presentation and we put it to vote. Should we reinstate the previous election commission or should we go with the appointed one? There are going to be a vote. We're going to get a result. Then I thought the second stage would have been, well, now we have 2 candidates that were disqualified. We start with 1 candidate. They make their grievance presented. There's a counter argument, and then we put it to vote. If the convention qualifies them or deny them, we're going to get a result. I thought maybe that's why he put them on the stage. And Edith, when you listen to her speech, she did not protest against that. She was aware that the convention has the higher decision. She was willing to go with whatever the outcome would have been. And if it were going to be a 3-way race, we accepted it. We never had an issue, so that's why we never complained about it. But to my utmost surprise, the agenda was not reflecting what really took place. So for him to blame Madam Poah and say she was the issue, she's not an issue. She's not a problem at all. She tried to be flexible with the situation that she was presented with.
Yeah.
And for him, I'm sorry again, Bobby, you're not online, but maybe you will hear it, but you will hear it like this. If you guys had a plan, why you didn't, suggest that plan on the floor? Why you really wanted to happen? Do you want an interim government? Because perhaps you say there should have not been an election. So what is your prescription to the situation? You guys sat there, the agenda was read, you didn't amend the agenda, you allow it to flow, and somebody maybe told you that you're going to be in order. Who told you these things were going to be in order matter in the first place? Who told you order matter can be anything? It can be somebody's birthday. I could raise something else on the order matter. So I really don't understand. You come to a fight with a knife. That's up to you guys, but we were adequately prepared for the situation. So Edith is the president. She's no fault to us. You can't
no.
gunfire with a knife.
Here is the thing. I still don't believe that Edith is completely free from being taking some of the blame. From my perspective as former commissioner or impeached commissioner, whatever way you want to describe it, Edith, I argue that Edith should have followed the rules. She have from the beginning. If she had not, okay. Yeah, Bobby, you want to be on the line? You want to be on the phone?
And Gibson.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Baffer just said, like some of those, that's exactly what I had in mind. You know, when I saw the 3 candidates, I thought, well, coming to say, okay, my thing going into Iowa, I'm like, as long as they reinstate the old election commissions and tell them to take over the process, and even on Sunday they hand the white ballot to Edith, we'll be fine to go home. That was my thing here.
Yeah.
Once that misstep happened, let's do it the right way. Go back, because she already qualified. Her team already qualified. So give it back to the people who initiated this thing, and then the board came and fired them and all that stuff. I thought was what was going to happen.
That was the anticipation for me. That was anticipation. If the body had restored the commission, then we have a way forward. Then we know that we can find another option. But before I continue, Michael V, if you are using iPhone, please don't use Google Chrome. Go to Safari, copy that link and put it in Safari. Then you'll be able to come on with your picture. I can see that you want to come in, but I can't see your video. I can't see your face, and you will not be able to access the information equally. Okay, so who is this? Okay. So the other point I wanted to make was, you are coming. will have you on. The other point I wanted to raise was I think
You lost your train of thought.
I lost my train of thought. So I will just go back to Thelma. You were saying something. Go ahead and welcome, Levi Madison. You are most welcome, but you are still off camera. Go ahead, Thelma.
Yeah, I'm still saying I still don't agree the way everything happened. My problem, my whole issue with this entire process is the board. Okay, it's the board of directors, because for Omega Kala to call and police, I was standing right there. When he got out of the hall, I saw him and I was walking in the yard. I came to the door. I was talking to my cousins at the door. And then when I came, I saw him pull his phone and he was calling. He said, I'm going to call it. So I said, you calling the cops on Grand Gidens? I said, why would you do that? And he got on the phone and told the cops there was a fight. And obviously, if you tell them there's a fight and there's an uproar, and in the background, the cops hearing all this noise.
Thelma, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm trying to enter the studio another way.
Oh, you are here. You are here already. We're seeing you now. So I
You can
will
see
put
me?
this one on and remove this one.
Yeah, we can see. You got to turn the other one off.
Yeah, no, I turn it off now.
Yeah, so if you tell the cops there's uproar and there's fight, they will come. So that's why he did that. My issue has nothing to do with Edith or anything. Edith did not do anything. Honestly, she didn't. The board and the administration, they were not working together.
And the corridor was open, so Edith moved in the corridor, right?
I mean, she didn't even move into the corridor.
Yeah.
That was the process.
Okay.
She followed the process from the beginning to the current situation.
Okay.
And she even.
Bobby said you want to come in. Look, I think Bobby been having a lot of problems. Let's bring Bobby in.
Bobby, yeah, come. Madison, come.
All right, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. You see, I am one person, the way I survived, and I've been surviving my childhood is to stand on ground and not to cave into peer pressure. I'm a little disappointed in my sister or someone down here tonight to say Edith did nothing. It is sad, it is very, very sad for you to say that Edith did nothing. From the time they appointed the election commission, it was over a month when they appointed this illegal election commission. And for you to sit there and Edith did nothing, then I think from yesterday to today, I want to think that people have been calling you and pressurizing you, and now you're leaving your ground.
I haven't received.
Like you to say, oh,
no, I disagree.
Listen, we should not allow sympathy, or we should not allow, for the sake of peace, for us to abuse our constitution. I will not allow that. You guys can go ahead and talk it, but I for one, Bobby Cooley, would never accept Edith as my president, because
Bobby,
allow an illegitimate body to preside over an election. He knew it fully well. The constitution was proper. People spoke on it lengthily in the community that the Poah has no legitimate power to appoint an election commission. And now,
Bobby, let me call you to a point.
Why would you want to do such a thing? When you think
you're making the process to be smarter than it is. It wasn't like a smart process that somebody sees opportunity.
Bobby, are you hearing me?
You go to any Nigerian function, or go to Nigeria, I will add my view that she was illegitimate election, that or presidency is illegitimate. I will say that I don't care. I will stand my ground because I'm taking principle. We should see the vote because the vote or they did not put our people in the flow. So he did nothing. She did absolutely something to herself. She did not do anything to anybody, but she did it to herself. So sit over there and allow an illegitimate body to decide what election. That's up to her. And as for me, my aim will lead until her presidency or 2-year presidency finish. Because everyone in the society, I will write, the Labdon community will know, the Labdon community allows will know, I must send will now with us until either 2 years expire. That's the point I want to make. If you guys want to go for the sake of peace, and think about for the sake of peace all the time, and allow the wrong to continue. We cannot allow that to take place in Liberia today. That is the key. Slaughter our people, kill our people in Liberia, say that the trial, the mountain, everything is being leveled, and then we start giving a letter for the sake of peace. Where are Liberians today? Where is the only Liberia today? And if the same thing happening, you guys will turn around, somebody look at you, get paid, and carry out a wrong deed, then time comes, they come back to you and call your phone, and not that kind of individual.
Okay, Bobby, let me ask you some question, Bobby.
Let's just say
Bobby.
tomorrow.
I know, let him catch your breath. Jeez.
Hello?
Bobby, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, no, hold on, Michael V. I'll bring you in. Michael V. Yeah, I can hear you. Everybody heard you very fine. You were loud and clear. My question is, I want to play some devil advocate here. And what Tillman and Bennett Baffle are saying is that the administration and the board, they didn't do their work. The administration was supposed to put in place a process where the body was going to make a decision, and that decision will have been consummated by everyone. Unfortunately, the administration did not do that. Edith had been qualified earlier, according to their argument. Edith had been qualified earlier. So whether this election commission or another election commission do the process, is it not the fact that she was previously qualified and she deserved to go through the process?
Yeah, and Gibson, let me come in.
Gibson, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Gibson, let me come in a little bit.
I'll see 1 minute.
Huh?
No, go ahead, Tema.
Yeah. The thing about it is that to me, at this point, there's no need to even go through this whole process again. I'm for sure, I don't support Edith, and I kept saying it, and I continue to say it yesterday, and I said it. If the process was transparent, if it was not hacked, I was going to try and work with Edith administration, but I just felt like, the process was hacked. It wasn't transparent, and Grangians, they didn't have the opportunity to voice up their opinions. And from the beginning, I said, I always want people's voices to be heard. And to me, everyone has had a misstep in this whole situation to the point where it got us here today. The organization is more divided than it was when we went into Iowa. Because right now, as we speak, there's baby grandchildren association being born and all over the place. And at the end of the day, everyone has a problem in this thing. People saying, "Oh, Edith should have withdrew her protest that she filed to the board pertaining to the other people." Okay, maybe. I don't know what protest she filed to the board. Maybe I missed that part. But my thing is that what was going to be the way forward? What was going to be the way forward today? What were we going to be? Was Jean Yubote prepared to take the organization again another year?
Let's see if Levi can answer that question. Levi.
Like, I just need to know what was going to be the way forward.
Someone is raising a rhetorical question here. And let's look at a rhetorical question. If Edith was not to be elected president, if we say that commission was illegal, there shouldn't be election, and there was no election, and Jean Yubote time has elapsed, what would have been the way forward? Do you have an idea?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jeru, and thank you to your discussant. I'd like to thank you for your time again, and the people listening to the podcast. I think, quite frankly, we have often been saying it, but we did not really grapple what we were trying to say when we said that GGAA was at a critical crossroad. Mm-hmm. We said it so much that it became a cliche that people did not take the time to understand what we meant by GGAA is at a critical crossroad. That in my mind meant that our actions or inactions could either help or destroy this union. And to the extent that we allowed our passions, our biases, and bigotries to take our eyes away from the prize. The prize here is saving the soul of GGAA. The soul of GGAA is the family value orientation. This cloud of politics that have crept in, self-interestedness, to the extent that if I live my lesson benefits from an action, whether that action is right or wrong, I'm willing to go to bed once allowing that wrong to fester because I benefit from the action. So that either Poah, in view of all limitations, what she did or did not do was not a party to everything that happened yesterday at that convention. It was a failure of all of us. It wasn't men enough to accept our wrong in everything that happened.
Yeah,
there was so much passions. There was so much aggression. That proceeding was a parliamentary one. And as such, it should have gone like that of a parliamentary proceeding. The first thing, the agenda was not accepted. It was not discussed. It was not endorsed. And it was used as a working tool for the forum. Gabriel Myers, therefore, the lack of an MC, a called for people who were delinquent to preside over that forum, which was the president. Jimmy just should have been the one to preside over that forum. You, Gerson Jaru, raise your hand and say a point of inquiry. But because both the bull and you were there had their plans, their plan from you side was to overrule any objection or inquiry so that they can go on with the plan. The plan was not to hear those grievances that were forwarded to them. Them wrote a complaint through the leadership into the board. But today also they seem. Do you know one of which they put those concerns? A or B.
Mm-hmm.
So we all failed. And for us to be people to sit down with yesterday and allow a man from Lofa to come and allow to sign a document that we didn't even read. What's sad? So for me right now, where we are, I'm for the solution and the way forward.
What is it?
GGAA is something that neither of us can walk away from. This thing here that we're looking for is our most prized possession. If we let it to die, we will all die. So, although that were wrong that happened, guys will not call police on us. But now we are where we are today. We have Edith Poah, who's president. What I celebrate more is that we had a succession of a peaceful transfer of power from one government to another. That was progress in my mind. What I think we should do now is to put our hands around Edith to make sure that the right things are done. The right thing includes peace in this community. The GGAA crisis must be resolved. And we must learn to do the right things, even if our interest is at stake. I respect Temo for saying on Yatine that I do not support Edith Poah. But to the extent that everything that happened, I do not hold her liable for them because she was herself a victim of the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, Grenadians, I've been here before and seen a group left GGAA and they did not want to leave. GGAA convener is the biggest gathering of Grenadians. Nobody can afford to walk away from this. So, to the extent that our interest is at stake, let us all stay here and make sure that the right things is done so that we can have harmony and peace in this community. The thing I that day yesterday was the market to us, the conventionals.
Mm-hmm.
Which have decided, you heard us screaming, say, no, let it come and decide. Not can you tell us, say, oh, A, B, C, and D. No. He said, as I say, oh, we have this line item. What does the conference say? Then we vote upon it. Then it pass. But we're all in so much passion and agony and emotion. So we did some things that we should not have done. And we, as young people, we say ourselves to the world that people who don't have common sense or who are not cordial or harmonious in our interactions. And it didn't represent us. So for me, GGAA is my heritage. Go or become done. I will not walk away from GGAA. I will stay here and make sure the right thing is done. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me go to Michael V. Michael V, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Yeah, you said you wanted to speak to something that Bobby said you were not fully in agreement. What was that?
Yeah. Thank you for bringing me on. First of all, I'm on the floor in the bill. Can you hear me?
Yeah, everybody here is fine.
Well, sorry, I'm not time a little bit host on the 5 minutes in the convention.
Right.
But I'm a quick study issue. I will applaud you for being very professional, for discussing issues, for not going on social media and writing stuff that is inappropriate, that is not taking or meant for a better for our organization. And I would say thank you to the IO, the women, most especially. We have lots of food, we sleep, nobody was hungry. I'm on my way back home right now. But I want to speak to something. I want to say thank you. You know, I can call her my boss, CEO, because that's how I knew her. And I'm Gemma Barton. That's how I knew her from the show, boss CEO. So I like to call that name. Thank you for making certain things clear here. Because that bad news are put to travel. Bad things, good things don't go out there fast, but bad things travel out there fast. My own church people, buddy, came up here and said something that this man called police and said there was a gun in the building. And when police came in that building and said there was a gun, I didn't believe I was going to be stopping everybody. And I disagree on it. That's why I was trying to come on here to solve. And I couldn't get on it. But thank God, the constituency or make a clarification. I disagree with Omega calling police again. I'm not a person. I'm not a person that call police on people. But it was something, and someone going to say the truth. Omega called police, he said it was a fight here. He never called police and said, and told the police that there was a gun in it. 20 people got guns on them.
No. He said there was a fight. I was sitting right there.
So whoever told you that, tell them that you start sharing information.
But I'm telling you that the police themselves told me. Why you just speaking to police officers told me why you just speaking?
The police
Why were you there? Were you there?
Police,
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
I'm telling you that I spoke to 3 police officers. I'm telling you that I spoke to 3 police officers.
Please start sharing false information. That is very false.
So what is it? Were you there while I was asking the police officer? Okay, Bobby, let her land. Bobby, let her land. Bobby. Hold on, guys. Hold on, Bobby. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Please hold on.
Are you trying to say I'm lying? Are you saying I'm lying? You coming from wrong information.
Guys, you're not on air. Please listen. You're not on air. Please listen. You are not on air. Please listen. Nobody's hearing you. You only in my phone. Please listen. I'll put you back on air, but I want to say something. Okay, Bobby, let her speak. When she's done, you can debunk her statement. But when you guys are talking to this, nobody understands it out there. Even we will hear with you, we can't understand it one more about people out there. So let her finish. We'll be giving a fair amount of chance. In fact, you are a panelist. So we'll be giving a fair amount of chance to debunk it. And Debbie Dan is on the other line. I'm going to bring her in, but go ahead, Michael V, and end your statement.
All right. So on that note, Mr. Gerald, I want to say.
Otherwise, please wait, and you will be joined into the conference.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We are hearing you fine.
All right. So nobody support police or anybody. It's not a good thing. I disagree with anybody bullshitting and calling police. But when something happens to you for the first time, Mr. Gerald, you got to be very careful for the second time. 2019 in Minnesota, this gentleman had a dirty spot in his ear. His shirt was ripped by a Brazilian on the same convention thing election thing. So when he saw that picture, I was sitting there. There was a gentleman that slapped me on his. I was right by the door there. So when his people came in and started holding people that were coming in, he ran outside and he called the police. People shouldn't see police as a bad people. For me, I think when somebody call police, they want peace. Police are peacemaking people. You hear me? And by us leaving that hall, the police came in there. They never saw anybody fighting. We were still in there. The police came on for the president came out there. The police said we should go, we should slow down and carry everything up. But the police brought the owner of the building a $15,000 ticket because I was a daycare center. They wrote that was in a hole. After it was registered as a daycare facility, that's why they wrote the lady a ticket. That one the lady was like, for sales to talk about that, then you can tell them to leave because I can't keep being here no more. So people need to understand. Police, they come in there to kill people. Police don't try to come and kill people. If there was a gun in that building, the police came to fight me, they were going to light that building. They have to touch everybody one by one before you get out. Whoever was in that building, and there were millions of people in that building when the police entered. So I disagree with that. And he said the police said, Omika called there was a gun. Omika even said that, when the police said, who called the guy that called? Omika said, me. Said, why you call? So he said, I called you because there was a fight. He continued to say there was a fight. Nobody has a gun thing. So when I scare people when we say we can't do it.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael V.
That they would not want to go to convention.
Thank you very much, Michael V. And Bobby, I'll let you to respond, and then I will let Debbie come in, and I'll go to Bennett.
Thank you. In our community, people once they decide to follow somebody, they don't see no wrong. They don't see no wrong as so long the ins and the justice is being put through. I'm not going to come on here, and I'm telling you that of the 3 West Point police officers and the crowd that was reaching the king and was being vigilant, you could see the guys looking at the crowd. You saw me go to the police 2 or 3 times. And those guys, 3 of them told me that they were caught because they said someone had firearm in the crowd. And for all to come there not even being happy with the spirit because we want everything to be okay. That's up to her. But that is not my focus. My focus tonight is I want Virginia to know. If we Virginians, we are to live like civilized people. If we are to obey the rules and orders of law, if we are to proceed as a civilized and educated people, we should not frown on everything that governs and guide us. For people to come on here today and say, okay, or either because the community was falling apart, and we needed a leader to move on. So because of that, we should disregard or disrespect our constitution and allow either to reign because that's the only way the institution will go on. That is an attempt and insult to Nigerians in America here. And I don't care whether you like it or not. The fact remains that the way you don't want about this president was illegitimate, the constitution still declares that the board has no jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction to appoint an electoral commission. And for to be an educated person to sit over there for some reason for an illegitimate party to decide over a presidency, that is up to her.
Okay.
I can tell you that the 2 years to be representation, my aim is ever open. Wherever I see the lady that she will be stopping as the president going to represent, she will be reported, she will be confronted, and she will be people in our community, in the Nigeria community, the Nigeria of life will know that for now, it's just a phone. It's not the discussion. That's not even going to be president today.
All right. Thank you.
Let me respond to that, please.
On the island.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
Let me respond to that, please.
Tomorrow, it's going to be my God. But everybody to the earth. I want to be correct to the fact remains that even knowing that people say that he didn't do anything. Okay, he didn't do anything. But why will you take over there? And the second part, why is you afraid of even there being an interim until we can put the right what is belong. What is the big deal? This is the man who guided that union during the most stressful pandemic in the history of mankind. When thousands and hundreds of millions of people died, he guided this union. What is wrong with you? You know that doing that for 1 year or 6 months. You don't want you to say, so this one thing in office, and you want us to accept you because it's regarding our constitution. Because it's a party, it's the USA who guided us today, that did an equal president, it's that, what is wrong with us? The either in the executive president.
Mr. Jeru?
Thank you. Okay, Bobby.
It's important, it's not important, it's not important. That either to decide and take respect to keep our constitution.
Okay, Bobby.
So let us keep our constitution. We are not waiting for we are waiting for we are solution. You have to stay there, and we could appoint the body, the supreme body, who will have the president, somebody to overrule to be the influence. And the people come here and say, oh, we are on a critical role, so we need a solution.
Okay, Bobby. Okay, Bobby, I want you to hold your thought.
Let me respond to that, please.
Wait, but since Debbie want to come in first. Sister Debbie wants to come in. I said Sister Debbie wants to come in.
And when she leaves, then we'll go to Bennett and then to Thelma, then to McCarvin. Debbie, are you there? What's 763-8948?
Hello, people.
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Thank you for having
me. Oh, okay, yeah, Julie, stay where you are.
This convention was a missed opportunity for us to fix our organization. So I don't like the results. It was a missed opportunity for us to put things in the right place. And we didn't do that. And why we didn't do that? Because Omega Kara did not want us to do that. Omega Kara did not call police because you were afraid to come in the hall and people fighting, all that in a bull crap. Omega called police because he wanted to remain both chairman. By fire, by force. So who won? It's Omega. If anybody won, not going to do that. And this time will continue to go on, Mr. Jeru. If it's not fixed, let me just take all of you back. From the track we are saying, we saw crisis with the king president in the midst of it. You know, okay. I mean, Mayor the king president in the midst of it. Mayor one said, but you know, I had a confession when he put the king president out of it. He put it time. People fighting, people complaining, people crying, people are not satisfied. He did become president out of it. That's what people ought to celebrate. Do you see any growth in that kind of thing? Do you see any improvement? The only last hope now, since you woman, I will have to hope for her. That the way she take over, man, she can call I would say meeting, but it's actually a mini conference. You call all your members, your chapter leaders, everything make muted. Okay, that they should bring all the members to this meeting. And let's start this thing accept unmuted. Everything on a meeting we get with our next convention, it will be the same trend. Because whoever will chair that convention will do it its way. I will come back in. I just wanted to say that yet. So we do nothing to that convention but then and meet our people that we see for long, any person like me. I was happy at the convention because so many people were happy to see me. I was happy to see people. That was the only fun at that convention. We achieved for things. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me bring Julie Tudi. Julie.
Hello, Mr. Jeru.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, you hear me?
Everybody hears you. You hearing my voice?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to God for inviting me on your show.
You need to stop playing the audio because it will confuse you. It's delayed. Okay, we'll come back to Julie.
You play all the people after.
We'll come back to
Why is it going to do that?
Julie.
Okay, turn it off.
Julie, okay, very good. Turn that audio off, otherwise it will confuse you. Thank you. You can hear me now? Okay, she's gone. Let me go to Bennett. Bennett. Bobby is passionate about what he's saying. Bobby is treading this line of legality. He's treading the line of legality. That what is not. I mean, I'm going to quote that for done legally, it's not done at all. So for him, Edith is not president because she was illegally processed to become president by an illegal commission. That's his argument. Why is he not right? You are
muted, bro.
You are on mute.
Yeah, let me defer to Mr. McCarvin because he wanted to come in immediately. I don't want him to lose his train of thought. McCarvin, go ahead.
Mr. McCarvin, come in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jeru. Before I answer your question, I'd like to disabuse Mr. Tootie of the view that radical posturing in democratic environments can yield any fruitful results. We saw it before, and the lessons are obvious for historians to judge. In the arena of democracy, minority voices will be allowed to fester. But at the end of the day, the will of the majority will prevail. There are opposition across the aisle, people who had aspirations to run for offices in this union, some of whom are disqualified. Yes, they still hold, resentment for being disqualified, under the atmosphere that it happened under. But to the extent that those disagreements were handled the way they were handled at the convention, in law it says procedural matters do not override substantive matters. The issue of election was a substantive matter. The path to that election was procedural.
Definitely procedural.
So it does not investigate the fact that this was a one person on the ballot. So whether I had the election or vote by him, the election was still going to happen. So we have been trying to assess path, to analyze and understand what is at stake. But for some reason, I understand the brother is passionate, but the passion alone does not override reasoning. Yeah, you say what is not done right is not done at all. But we have seen things that have been done in this community. The impeachment of Frank Williams, was that done consistent with the law? No. But did it not suffice? It did because of the majoritarian view. That's politics.
Let me ask you a question.
Even Gibbs, even James Dupoti, you saw him change his position on the floor that day. From being in agreement with the board, you saw him disagree with the board openly. That's because political arrangement and that started the dynamic, the change. So whether he objects to whatever the result is, that's him to live with. But GTAA is supreme, and we will stay in defense of this union.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm playing devil advocate for Bobby.
Yeah.
Was it in any way possible, and any of you can come in on this if you respond. Was it possible that on the basis of moral grounds, that Madam Poah said, you know what, Madam Chair, or Mr. Chair, Mr. President, we want to settle this election issue because tomorrow is election, and I would think that we should settle this before we go to the election. Was it a moral imperative that she could have undertaken?
So yes, definitely. I, as a supporter of Madam Poah, a critical supporter of Madam Poah, have argued that Madam Poah, there are issues that are in the community that you as a would-be leader should speak about. That includes you saying to the board or the leadership that the impeachment of those duly elected board elected commissioners was not in line with our constitution. But sometimes morality and political expediency they rival for supremacy. So Madam Poah, in this vein, could not have done so. Her only quest was for her political goal to be achieved. This is now a moral sport. Politics is not a moral game. Yes, sometimes we compel politicians to act morally, but she acted in her best interest to follow the process. If I had been Madam Poah, I would have argued to that extent. But to the extent that argument did not lend support to her aspirations, she chose to be mute. We saw her dressing in Minnesota when Fred Graham was put out of the hall. That was the reason why she lost that election and Jimmy, but they won. So Madam Poah is not known for acting in those kind of directions. She wants to play it safe, to follow whatever the authority says, and that's what she did. So I for one to not fault her for not taking a moral position. She played it politically safe, and in the end, you reserve for her.
And for me, I mean, Madam Kine, let me just say this: if I were in that situation, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have consulted my advisors, but political expediency, maneuvering, outsmarting people, these are all part of the game. And Edith is just being politician. She's just being politician in our situation, right?
Let me tell you something. I don't think anybody or any politician in that process. It just things just happened that way, to be honest with you. Nobody knew what was going to happen. It just one of those things, like I said, the process was not transparent. The process was hijacked by the board because there was no process in place. The administration had their own problem. And I continue to say, I'm not an Edith supporter. I know for a fact I will not be working with this administration because the process that brought it into being was not right. And I continue to say that from day one. But my thing is that we shouldn't put blame on one person. Like Levi is saying, we all are to be blamed here. Because when we started saying these things from the beginning, everybody thought we're just making noise. And in the end, it got here today. And we missed the point where we were all supposed to be united. We missed that this weekend. You know, my hopes for us going to Iowa was for us to be united coming back. But now it seems like we're more divided than we're supposed to be. Is it Edith's fault? No. Is it James Hubert's fault? No. Nobody planned. Nobody had proper planning in place. And I will continue to say that from day one. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean if Edith pick up the phone and call me and say, "Can work with me,"
I think they were planning because they even had cow and all already ready to slaughter. So I looked at Edith was very, very sure that the process was.
I mean, but she's the only one on the thing. So what do you expect?
Oh yeah.
Can I disagree with the two panelists and Mrs. Kine?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah, like when you look at beginning from the point where Mr. Hubert brought the two denied candidates on the stage, Madame Poah was called and she went there. Every one of us listened to her statement. Was there anywhere did she ever mention that I disagree for the convention to make decision? I thought she accepted because we all expected that the convention were going to do the parliamentary procedure to correct the mistakes. She accepted that part of it. In fact, that's why she went on stage. She did not protest against it. So if she had voiced her opposition to that idea, then people would say maybe she was colluding, or maybe she was being taking up a political opportunity, but it wasn't the case. She was qualified before this situation came. Even the previous commission disqualified 2 candidates on her team, and she readjusted, gave me your commission. So she followed the route. So regardless of whichever commission was heading the election, she was going to participate anyway. The question was, how about the other candidates that were removed from the competitive process? And in fact, the original commission versus the new commission, that was not either issue. It was left with the administration to correct, and that correction would have been made at the national convention. Well, that did not happen. How is that her fault? What do you want her to do? Tell the convention and say, I'm not taking part in the election because the administration failed to do its job? That's not what she was going to do. Nobody will do that. We're waiting for the convention to make the decision. Like you said, Mr. McCarvin, it was a procedural error. They didn't go through the parliamentary process. In fact, they did not validate this particular complaint to be relevant enough that did not make the agenda. So is Edith now the president?
I agree with that.
I think what we must do, including Mr. Tode, who is a big brother, and I understand his passion, is we now know the situation, we know the problem. And Mrs. Kai, you guys have all of the idea and the smart to correct the situation. You don't try your best and work with them. Perhaps before the next convention, we can amend the constitution, see the problem that arose from the procedural error, including even if perhaps the board of directors disqualify maybe some election commissions in the future. What is the process constitutionally? There's A, B, C, and D, how to appoint new commission, if that should be. Let's correct everything. And like you said, Mr. McCarvin, that's what's wrong with this organization has outgrown its constitution. Nobody have anticipated the growth of this entity. It grew, but we are just now is not meeting up with the bylaws that regulate it. We are more political than charity and social. We have a lot of politics. How can we diminish the political influence? Do we extend the tenure of office that we can have politics in a season and then forget about politics and do a lot of charity? All of these things got to be corrected. So I don't think we can blame Madam Poah on anything. She has not done nothing. In fact, if anybody, we should be praising her for accepting to go along. She came on the stage and said, I agree with what the convention, we went as a team to accept. We were not going to argue. It will be, we should be praising her.
Why you imply that I want to address this also? What was the purpose of Jeannie Ubote calling them, and he's not going to follow through with the agenda process?
He used his bullet puppet to do that.
I don't know. Maybe we can add. Maybe
because you call the people, that's an election issue.
Yeah.
You call the people to commit themselves to the decision of the body, and that's the election issue. But that election issue is not even on the agenda.
Yeah, and everybody was if you take the pulse of everybody in the hall there, they were happy. Listen, I live in Des Moines here with Big Brother Boti Tayon. He's a good man. As much as I support Edith, and I would not love for him to be disqualified, especially where he cannot voice his opposition to that disqualification. Big Brother Gibson, you are a good man. You are not confrontational. For your commission to be dismissed, I want you to make your point known so the body will hear. I also want to hear from the board of directors so they can also state their decision that they took. That's the convention can decide and supersede over this issue. We never had the opportunity. The agenda did not reflect all of that. So we cannot extract that procedural, to quote Mr. McCarvin, to that procedural error on Madam Poah. What we can do is to rally around her, volunteer our time and energy to correct the mistakes. I think that's what we should be doing.
Let me also add to that. Let me add to that point, and we can bring Bobby.
Okay, you come back. Let me add to that point.
That Robert F. Kennedy said once that the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to explain the somber present. The laws we have right now are obsolete. The union, like he said, has outgrown the narrow view that Honorable Siwakana Bones and his colleagues in New York thought about when they formed the GGAA. And to the extent that we now have something else outside what the original focal point was, it calls for us, the so-called intellectuals, to come to the table and dismiss ourselves of our biases, to think in the strategic interest of GGAA. When the union was strong together, Ellington Salif met us 5 times. There's no reason why this country that supported George Weah overwhelmingly in 3 successive elections have not been able to meet George Weah to tell him Grand Jury can't just view or pre-condition for further support. That's because every time they put the TV on, they see one crime man against the other in vehemence and demonization, vilifying each other. So what I'm going to say in short, to the Temo, to Honorable Tudi, is GGAA is supreme. It is all we have right now. You have expertise that we need. Do not vow to say, oh, because if you agree that Edith Poah is not at fault here. So to say you'll not work with her is to deny GGAA the land of their mothers.
No, it's the land of my father, not my mother. I'm half.
All right, the land, your father's land. To say you will not lend your expertise to GGAA because of a procedural error.
Why are you
made possible. I think it's not in the right direction. So I want you to think about it. I understand passions are high right now, but you have expertise that we need.
Let's challenge the man response, because you said the same thing back from medicine and
let's move on.
Bobby, the argument I want to put up and I want you to defend yourself is the argument here is that the administration failed to do its work. The board failed to do its work. Manafort beneficiary of the process. Why should we now blame her and not blame Jim? Why don't you blame Jim? Who did not put your issue on the floor?
Very, very good. Very good question. But this is it. It is so sad tonight that I lost my voice and I'm not really audible, but I will do my best.
Okay, hear you. Everybody hears you fine.
Whatever the panelists or your people say tonight, they can't answer the hard question. You cannot run away from the truth. Whether you will put my grievances on the floor, whether the board call police or not, the truth remains. The truth remains that the board appointed an illegal body that presided over the death index convention that Edith became president. That alone makes her illegitimate. And if anybody will challenge me on that tonight to say what either part is illegitimate or it's not legitimate, I defy. Let us be corrected according to the book, according to our Ghana law. Whatever happened in Iowa, not one person come up tonight and say he was not illegitimate. That an illegitimate body presided over election. I don't care whether the vote or not, or whether our grievances were heard. What was not done right was not done right at all.
So, Bobby, let me extend the question. There is a convention coming to North Dakota, and Edith Poah will be presiding as president. Will you come to that convention?
Mr. Jeru.
Yes.
Thank you. Listen, I made my point clear. And my little brother on that show tonight, he knows the kind of individual I am. I stand for what I'm standing for. And the statement that I'm making here tonight, I don't fall on my statement. I don't play double games. I don't know how to flip-flop on issues. As long as I hold my ground, Edith, what I want to make clear to Grand tonight, nobody will take away from Grand. Nobody. It is not my intention to take away from GGAA. But as many people observe on here tonight and are willing to do, we will allow Edith to have a stake in Edith. The reason I'm saying that is, people look at her. Let's just do what we can do. To take my perfect eye or abusing our constitution. No, that is not right. knowing that whoever goes to power is elected in a good way. If you want us to call president, I'm sorry, I am not going to join that bandwagon. I prefer to stay on the lunar island of reality. I prefer to die on the lunar island of rationalization. I prefer to stay on the lunar island of where the truth will be spoken. Stay on the lunar island where the Constitution reigns supreme. And for any individual, you got to start the ground. I will go to the convention, take my ticket, because I want my voice to be heard. I don't want tomorrow to say, oh, my father did not send to the convention, so he can't do this. I will get my ticket, people TV, and I'll travel back to Minnesota. That's what I would do.
Mr. Jeru, let me
Yeah.
ask the two a question, please, if you don't mind.
Levi has a question for you.
Yeah, let me ask him a question.
Levi has a question for you. Levi has a question for you.
The question is, I have heard more firing lines from Mr. Tudi, especially so during the Fred Guian saga. Mr. Tudi was one of the defenders of Fred Guian, and he said far more graphic things than he said today. He was the one that laid the basis for the formation of GGAD. How today is he back in GGA making this advocacy? The question is, will he not come back on these words again tomorrow? Much like he did on the previous one that led to the formation of GGA, and today we are arguing for one GGA.
Mr. Tudi, did you hear the question? You want to respond or?
When I spoke at Missouri as the guest speaker of GGAD, my thing was like, GGAD, we cannot abandon the model state. We have to go back. Because all our state that we have the social craft in our community, and we cannot allow the model state to kill in deep and dangerous water. We cannot allow people that are self-centered to replace on DGA because the people that are supposed to be the benefactors will not benefit. So we need to go back on board. That was my message then.
So the question is, what accounted for the change of your prior position that brought you back to the GGA now?
Give anybody the right to abuse our constitution. Just because
but McCalvin's question is,
the law is the law.
Levi's question.
Law is the law.
Levi's question.
You earlier on opined that the impeachment of Fred Guian was a violation of the constitution. Against that backdrop, you left GGA and went to GGAD. The question is, how did you make your way back to GGA?
We can hear you. Okay, look, let me say this. Bobby, the question was, you said you were not going to come back to GGA, and now you are back. So he's asking that you were not on Edith's presidency. He's worried that you will fall back on your position again. That's what he's saying.
No, so I don't know where he meant by when he say I will not come back to GGA, because I believe we have never had such discussion. We have always been around GGA. When the incident happened, I was in peaceful. I didn't make any convention. The only convention I made was the one in Cleveland. When he said I want to come back to GGA, I went to I went everywhere in the constitution. I went in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I've always been around. I've always been the middleman.
Okay.
So I figured GGA. So when he said that, I don't know where he comes up with that.
Okay.
My thing is, I will not look at right and wrong to call it right just because I want the community to go ahead. If we continue to exhibit this kind of behavior and allow these things to happen, they're not going to improve. Tomorrow there'll be another trouble. Somebody will come back and win illegally, and then we'll have the next place of speaker move on. What is something?
All right. I think we got tomorrow. We got tomorrow to continue the discussion. We'll be joined by other members of the Grand Jury community, opinion committee, opinion leaders. But before I can go to my finalists, I want to first go to Michael V to give a closing comment.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. I just want to say thanks to everybody for discussing the issues. I just want to make it clear. I don't come up here to attack people. You know, I always say this, Mr. Joe, that some of us learn, we follow you guys, your footsteps. Yeah, it's true. We have to go sit in class to learn. But most of us, like for me, I'm majoring in reading. So for the past term, we have been talking about it, one constitution, and everybody reading it. Sometimes they read it to my understanding, and we can find it right way for you. But now we are getting there, so we all we disagree to agree. When we express our opinion, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Express your opinion. In some way, it might be corrected, but we shouldn't be in anger. We shouldn't fight one another. We should disagree to agree and come to a one conclusion. At the end of my thing here is, going to that channel, we are all looking for the best for going to that channel. Let us still going to that channel. I don't come up here to attack anybody. I personally, somebody asked a question, I think you know, not anything about you or something, then I say, it's a mother, something your mom, something your dedicated my past. I agree. My mom is the one that prevents it. And Great Gideon took care of me. And I love Great Gideon. I will speak on any issue concerning Great Gideon family. Because at the end of the day tomorrow, I can see myself. That's how I think. Thank you. Let us take Great Gideon forward.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Edith Poah, the mother of our organization. We look forward for her to bring peace in our community. Our people are looking for nobody hit her. I think Bobby is expressing the feeling. So we look up to our mother now to see what it says to the kids to bring the people over. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Debbie Dan. Debbie, you want to give your final parting statement? Debbie Dan, are you there? Okay, I think she's not there. So I will let her go. Okay, so let me go to Jeremy. I'll take your comments, and tomorrow we hope to be joined by Abu Yonle, Mr. Brian, and Mr. Collins. So we will hope to continue this discussion, at least so we can, because our people don't understand some of these things, and the explanation we offer here will help the people to understand. What's your parting comments?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Come on. Oh, yeah. When it comes to them being the last to enjoy the cake, you can say, let the men go in front. But
no, these issues are very simple. My love for this community and this union trumps everything. And like I often say, in politics, or at least in political arrangement, nothing is static. Politics is dynamic. It's a fluid environment. There's often you have to take on one view or the other for a much more persuasive or nuanced, approach, or at least deliverable. That's the reason why in political discussions there's no permanent enemy. There's permanent interest. The interest here is to make sure that GGA remains supreme and remains excelled. I like again to re-emphasize and perhaps re-caution my uncle. I love him so dearly. I support him in everything. But in the destruction of this union, I will not be a party. The last time we allow our passion to lead us down this same path, we are still grappling with the impact. In this community, we are opinion leaders. Our words matter. Everything we say or do, there are people who follow us thinking that we know what we say and think our actions true. So I'm cautioning him to not allow himself, or his anger or passion, as you call it, to allow him to come at his ease with his birthright. This is our grandfather's creation. We cannot walk away from it. We have to do anything possible to make sure that this union survives. So I want to have him this week to rethink his actions and come back to the fore. We need him. We understand his anger is occasioned by immoral prism. So politics is a self-interested sport where if I'm the benefit, I don't care about what happens to my neighbor. That's the reason why when I created the union, they did not make it political. They made it family-based and humanitarian. But when politics crept in, it tried to alter everything and that find ourselves where we are today. So GGAA won yesterday by reason of this willingness in view of his own aspiration to continue his reign, to submit to Edith Poah and plan to working with her. I think all Grenadians across the globe should make it a Tuesday to work with Edith Poah to make this union a better one for all of us. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And as for me, let me be the second to the last. Let it be the last person here. My closing statement will be: once we've identified the issues that led up to this situation of dissatisfaction, we must fix it. We must not kick the ball down the road or kick the can down the road. We know now the situation with the organization has to do with the board and its tenure, or the situation also has to do with the number of members of board of directors. I'm suggesting that GGAA must find a way to work with the subdivisional organizations such as Grand and Conembo, Chien, and Bazan district. Perhaps we can derive 3 board members from each district to comprise the 9 board members. Yeah, I'm also putting forward that we should increase the tenure of office to reduce the level of constant politics, because politics is back to back every 2 years. And also, I want us to be able to be civil when we have convention-led exercise, the parliamentary procedure. Agendas must be adopted by the body so that everybody can have their saying. We must not, conceal the agenda and push things in the corner, passionate things in the heart of people, and then they come here and they go back to their various states and their grievances are not heard. I think it's not good. And there are so many things. And I also want to ask everybody that know how to fix these things, volunteer your time and your energy to fix the issue instead of coming to debate the issue all the time. I think that's what we must do. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Let's work with Madam Poah and help us to settle this problem before the next convention. Other than that, thank you so much, Bibra Gibson. Have a very good night.
Thank you very much. Let me, Mr. Tuli, your party statement, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson, Jeru, for calling this where everything that is put in our community this weekend. I'm a little disappointed because you did not put forth my question to the panelists on here tonight as to whether it is an illegitimate president or an illegitimate president. It is sad that you did not do that. So I know we are on this thing, where there will be an occasion or situation again where they will have the opportunity to answer these questions and to whether it is legitimate as of now or not. Now, I heard the cry and my little brother, as the Roger said, that we are stakeholders. We are people that people listen to sometimes. But the fact remains, the law is the law. We cannot allow sympathy to exceed the greater interest of the community. First of all, I'm sorry to say that everything on this proper head tonight, I don't know how to do it again either, because he is compromised. He is compromised in the fact that from the get-go, he has been an other supporter of Edith Poah. So tonight, the position means not to him. And we should stop. I always take him to the corner and tell him, brother, do not allow Edith to overrule the right thing. If you are to die in the corner by yourself, it is good. But take care with Georgie tomorrow. Leave out my father Madison Demoted. Cannot come on here tonight and say that Edith is an legislative president. You know and understand the Constitution. But because you want peace already, you want us to bury the truth. You want us to take this prayer and abuse our Constitution. Because you want the legacy of our father to continue, we should just respect our family law. If you say so, I'm sorry, I'm not going to join you on that shit. I will not join you in the shit where we will stand to abuse our family law, our Quran, our Bible. The Constitution is our Bible. I will not join you on that shit. I refuse. I for one refuse to do that. If you guys want to turn this institution and the organization into the bubble, Chemical Gateway, bubble ammonia, where they take the leaders, then let's do it. If you want to make the bubble ammonia, then let's go dig it into bubble ammonia, where they go into second and take the leader. Let us put away our Constitution. Let us carry our Constitution. If we are to remain as a family value. But I, for one, I refuse to disrespect our organic law. And I'm saying to be corrected. I will do everything in my power. Board of any physical operation or application. The thing, the justice of God me, the right, I would let my brother, I would add my opinion at any time. The Poah is our legitimate president. I will stop there because I'm losing my voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, Tema, close it up for us. Wow, that was a happy from Bobby right there.
Okay.
You know, Bobby, no, to be honest, Bobby has a point because I think Levi said it in the hall. He said, evil tribes, good people refuse to act. So it's the same thing. When wrong things continue to thrive, the people who know the right thing refuse to act. I know it will be difficult before you make your thing. It will be very difficult for our union, for our organization, for some people to say, well, Edith cannot attend a convention because she's illegal. This is something that is unthinkable because, like the junior body said, justice is what the authorities say it is. Junior body, go ahead, Tema.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Jeru, for inviting me here tonight. You know, from day one, I've been sounding this alarm that, I didn't want for grandchildren to go to Iowa and come back more divided than we are, right? Than we were. And apparently we missed that. We missed the ball. We should have done something. We should have all worked together and to move this organization forward. And that's where a lot of grandchildren are frustrated. Because Friday night, it was so much tension. I was standing outside. I got pulled from each corner from one corner to the other. People were talking. People had a lot of concerns. Even Saturday, while we're sitting in the hall, I walked outside and what people, were coming to me and talking to me and were like, what is going on? There was so much confusion. People just didn't know what was happening, what the agenda was. We were just sitting there and listening without any clear direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's my frustration. because we should have fixed these things leading up to the convention. You know, we've been saying this thing over and over, and then it got us here today. And that's my frustration with this organization every time. The same thing happened in 2017. When we wanted, I said, yeah, let's have peace convention and put this organization together before we head into election. People said no. The same thing again this time. Let's have peace. And then 2019 came, the same thing. They called Caps on Fred at that convention. This time around, let's do this thing. Let's have peace convention and let's have peace convention, and then when we go to Iowa, I mean, after that we can have election, you know, and none of those things happened. There was an agenda. Why would the main reason that Grangeans overwhelmingly went to this, and convention be placed on AOB? People were sitting there and so confused. We are here to vote. I heard those ladies that were sitting on the other side, like, when we're going to vote on the thing, if we're going to have election or not. There was no plan. There was absolutely no plan. But my thing is that I'm not an Edith supporter, and I will not support the process, and I will continue to say that because the process failed the Grangeans, and it will take me a long time for me to, try to say if I will even attend any convention within the next 2 years. But with that being said, the process that we screw up from the beginning, it got us to where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And what I say is anyone, we all, like Levi said, it's everybody's fault in this thing. Nobody can point somebody and say this is this person's fault 100%. But my two people that I blame for this entire convention not happening the way it went is the administration and the board.
I think, okay.
We need to be objective when we're talking, but in as much as I disagree with the process, it went through. And now Edith is president. Those that support her and wants to work with her, that's fine. People can move ahead and do that. I'm okay with anybody who feel like they should work with the administration and bring Granite Association to where it will be in the 21st century. I'm okay with that. Will I be doing that? No, I'm not. And I continue to say that. If the process was transparent, if it was not hijacked by a few people, maybe some of us were going to look at it. Like I said it on my podcast, I was willing to work with the whole, Poah administration to do whatever I can to have this organization to be to where it is. But I just feel like it will be a total waste of time and effort. And we have done that in the past. We did that 2015. We did that 2017, 2019, and then now 2023. So we'll just sit back now and watch. It's upon the new administration to put this thing together. And one thing I will advise them, don't sit there for because you might stay here 2 years trying to bring community together, and it's not going to work because some of us will not come on board. There will be people that will never come on board. But just go ahead and do whatever you want to do and move the community forward the best way forward and possible that you can. Maybe they will surprise us because I know that nothing's going to change. So I'm looking for that surprise to happen.
And it is not a bad thing to have opposition. I mean, your opposition strengthens your ability to solve problems. But Tema, I will tomorrow we plan to bring Boo Yoli, Tema Collins, and others. We will call on you if you're not busy. I know you're a very busy person. If you're not busy, you come and join us again with Levi and Bobby. They are our panelists, permanent panelists. But thank you very much for your insightful comments. Bobby, Levi, you said something you want to speak, Shirley, before we close?
I just want to make a biblical reference in.
Levi, I didn't know you need a Bible.
Yeah, really.
When Ms. Judy was speaking, something came to my mind, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I pretty much likened it to what happened when Christ was crucified. The curtain in the temple.
Yes, ripped in the middle. Yeah, ripped.
I will hope he understands the significance of that. But because of the sensitivity of this matter,
Reverend Levi McCartney Madison.
Thank you very much. Peace out.
Thank you very much, everyone, guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we end this one tonight, and we'll come back again tomorrow with some other panelists. Trust me, we will handle this professionally. Even if I have my own feelings, I will make sure I behave the journalist I am. And that's the way you behave as a journalist. You give people the opportunity. I could come here today and start condemning and criticizing because of my disagreement with either the board or maybe the process or even the other commission or whoever I disagree with and start condemning. But that's not the way a professional journalist behaves. So I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna navigate the process to give you the opportunity to hear from people in different ways. I'm not going to overshadow that. So I'll see you tomorrow about 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm trying to up the time to 4 o'clock so we can continue our broadcast in Zwedru, in Grand Jeddah County. We go from 4 o'clock, then 10 o'clock, the radio station is on, and we can be heard live in Grand Jeddah County. And that's what I want to continue. But it looks like most of our people are busy at that time, but we're going to see. We're going to adjust that time so we can come on at 4 Central Time. That way we are on 10 o'clock in the evening in Grand Jeddah County, and our people get to listen to us. I want to say thank you for being here. I really do appreciate your being here. We can't do without you. You are the reason we are here, and we want to say thank you again. Let me go and play this song here.
Zango, Lago Zango, Zango, je suis fan de Lago Zango. Mi umalia dina play, kamte wulubiela. Kale moye, flotia tuya bébé nyanyo. Émeraude, saphir est jolie, mais c'est toi la plus Zango. Tout ce qui brille n'est pas de l'or, c'est toi ma go. Rubis rougit les yeux, mais c'est toi que j'ai choisi. Tu es ma pierre précieuse, diamant et petit. Ma pépite, ma pépite, ma pépite. Zango, Lago Zango, Zango, je suis fan de Lago Zangoli. Mi umalia dina play, kaze kemeti. Allez, on fait, on soubane, nous fait combien yo. Émeraude, saphir senti, mais c'est toi la plus Zango. L'or ne m'a pas fait craquer, c'est toi ma go. Rubis c'est très aimé, mais c'est toi ma bien-aimée. Diamant est très précieux, mais c'est toi ma préférée. Ma pépite, ma pépite, ma pépite. Voilà la partie de ton corps qui me dérange. Nima wewe adongo madana bunga bunga. Nima wewe adongo madana bunga bunga. Aye emango, aye mboga mboga, aye mboga mboga, aye mboga mboga. Nima, 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 nima. Setue, butue, setue, butue. Quack-quack-quack, atikiri quack-quack-quack, quack-quack-quack, atikiri quack-quack-quack, quack-quack-quack, atikiri quack-quack-quack, quack-quack-quack, atikiri quack-quack-quack. Émeraude, un mouillé pour la plus en go. Et bien mouillé, mais non, c'est toi ma go.